Oh, it's so exciting. By the way, thank you if you're still listening after that 7-minute docuseries update.
I think you missed about 30 bowl games there.
Yeah, coming up next from Chris Villar, the weather in Indonesia. TJ Lang joining us today until 4. He is fresh from a Costco run. He has just opened a fresh tin. This is exciting, people. What's going on, dude?
Beautiful Friday, huh?
I know. Dude, this is disgusting.
I'll take this 50-degree and rain over whatever it was last week. Minus
That's fair.
Wind chills. Oh,
Can we agree neither's good?
yes. This is slightly better. Not great. But
Here's what I
slightly
want to
better.
do, because there's no real way to make it perfect, and I don't want to alternate hours or anything silly. We have 2 massive football games to talk about. One is the Lions, which it's just they still have so much to play for. They can still get in. I think putting a winning record on the board is still very important for Dan Campbell. They need to get up off the mat, beat the Bears. And you have a chance to go 5-1 in the division, which I said, TJ, that's not talking about hope or selling hope. It's selling results. You could go in the next season in that room knowing we can absolutely win this division.
Yeah.
The other one is Michigan in the playoff game. And I feel like I've talked about it a bunch, but people are a little reticent to talk about it because they're already on to the national title game, and they believe it's going to be like the Saturday Night Live skit. Dicka versus God, Dicka. Like Michigan's just going to win by 1,000. So I want to let's do it this way for you and for the people. And then we'll talk about how you butted the line at Costco. An incredible move. Which of the 2 games are you more amped for, more excited for? The one you want to watch more? I mean, whether you are a Lions fan, a Wolverine fan, both, these are 2 massive games as we hit New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. Which one are you more excited for? And what I want to do is if you have angles, opinions, questions, fire them. I'm not going to sell you and do Lions 1 hour and then Michigan the next. TJ's here till 4. You want to ask him a question? Go ahead. I'll leave. Talk to him all day. Whatever you like. 248-539-9797. I know for me, I'm more excited for the Michigan game. And it's a month with no college football locally. It's a playoff game. It's a game where everyone expects them to win, but I think TCU could be pesky. I want to know where you're at with it. And obviously, you're working the Lions game.
I think as of right now, I'm more excited for the Lions game.
Really?
I am. And I think part of that is, look, recency. I mean, we've seen the Lions play the last month. We've seen them go 3-1 the last month. It seems like we had such a big break between that. I mean, Michigan-Purdue felt like it was last year.
Totally.
It felt like so long ago that a lot of that optimism and a lot of that excitement has kind of gone away. Now, I'm sure, if you ask me tomorrow at 3 o'clock, I'll probably be more excited for the Michigan game. But up until that point, everything that I've been excited about the last month has been the Lions. Yeah, that's where I've been sitting. And especially with everything – everything going on this weekend, right, with the Lions playing and even last week, even losing, I mean, you're still in the same boat because you still got some help with Washington losing. You still got some help with Seattle losing.
Giants.
This is a playoff. You're right, but this is a playoff game for the Detroit Lions. And I know really you could say that about the last couple games. Last week they got help, but I'm more excited for the Lions. I am. I think I'm more intrigued to see how they're going to bounce back after last week. You know what I mean?
What the hell was last week?
I don't even know. I mean, defensively, I didn't think the scheme was all that bad. I just thought that, you know what, there were probably half of that defense just picked the wrong day to have a bad day. And it was disappointing for sure. Guys just not making tackles. Guys just not getting off block. It was a lot of the things we saw in the first 7 weeks of the season that just kind of showed up that you thought they had gotten rid of, right, over this past the previous 7 games, which they did. Now, I'm interested to see, is that Carolina game the anomaly, right?
Yeah.
Can you just, everybody has a bad day at the office, right?
I think so.
Just if you're the Chiefs and you're the Bills and you're the Eagles, you can afford a bad day, right? But with the Lions problem, you can't because of the way you started this season. I want to see how they rebound.
I think, and it's what I tried to explain it to people. It's like, I don't want them to lose, but I'm expecting a loss. Either the Jets or Carolina. Why? The road games in December. You've been red hot. The NFL, it's very hard. It's men, not machines.
Yeah.
It's very hard to just go out and do it again without what you just said. A little bad day at the office.
Yeah.
And they had one.
It's hard to, when you look back at the start of this run. It's hard to, you get up, you have a great game against Green Bay. You do it again, good comeback against Chicago. You have a great day against, the Giants, the Jaguars, the Vikings. It's hard to get up week after week after week after week and have those type of repeat performances.
Unless you play Michigan's schedule.
Much easier. That's, different
Wait
story.
a minute.
But it's hard to do that. And you know what? Does that Carolina game take away from anything that they did the previous 2 months? This 6-2 stretch that they've
No, as long as they win the last two.
Right now, as long as they get it corrected, and as long as they prove to us that they're a different team. Right?
Win the last two.
If this is the same team, this is a game they come out after, getting walloped last week, and they, things go from bad to worse.
This is a bad Bears team. Now, I don't care how much you win by in the NFL. That doesn't matter.
No.
Win.
Yeah.
But you can't. I will be pissed. They cannot lose this game. You got to set yourself up to scoreboard watch next week and have something on the line against Green Bay.
Yeah.
Whether that's a winning record, whether it's a playoff berth, whether it is going to David's church and praying for a result later in the day. It's got to happen.
Yeah. Now, if they don't win this week, you can say, maybe that 6, out of 7 stretch was, maybe you got a little lucky there, right? Maybe this isn't a different team. Maybe you're reverting back to what we saw, last year and the beginning of this year. I don't believe that they're that team. I do believe that they're different. And
now,
I do believe
Michigan,
that they're able to, handle adversity a lot
You're going to
better.
be in your Go Blue jammies tomorrow. I know you're pumped up.
The onesie.
But here's the thing. You have a take that a lot of people are not going to like. And it's not that Michigan's going to lose, because you do think Michigan's going to win. I think I have not heard a soul pick TCU. But you actually think the game's going to be close.
I do. I'm confident in my belief that Michigan is going to win. However, I'm not confident in, if you force me to pick them to cover that 7.5, 8 points. I think that's too many in a playoff game. And regardless, I know TCU, look, what was it, the 5-6 wins, by single digits, played a bunch of backup quarterbacks. I get that. You don't have any crossover usually between the Big Ten and the Big 12, so it's hard to compare. Maybe we could be underestimating the Big 12. Maybe there's a chance we could be underestimating the Big 10 this year. I mean, with how many bad teams were on paper, maybe they were a little bit better, right? It's always tough when you get into these matchups that you're unfamiliar with. But, look, I think having a month off, I think, not playing when you're playing your best football this season, and you got to take a break, right? I think that that concerns me, not only with starting fast, which is something that Michigan has not been able to do this season. I mean, how many first halves have we seen? The game looks like it's going to get out of control. Right now, you do that against a playoff team, that it could bite you in the ass.
The problem
it hasn't
with
been in the ass
TCU
this year, but you do that against TCU, there's a chance you could be down and maybe looking for a comeback. I think Michigan's the better team.
Can I ask you
one
one geeky question? Because so they run a 3-3-5 and a true 3-3-5. So Joe Gillespie's their defensive coordinator. He doesn't vary, meaning, all right, what percentage of their snaps did they use 3 down linemen? Want to venture a guess?
90%.
99%.
Yeah.
They had 4 snaps this year. They didn't use 3. They're going to use 3. Can you explain from an offensive line standpoint? It's the only geeky thing, because I want you to explain it. You'll do it better than me.
Well, a 3-3-5 is different than
a 3-4.
3-4, you have, your 3 down linemen, but then you have the 2 outside backers that are on the edge, right?
You have 2 massive outside guys that are 275.
Yeah, speed rushers that are technically D ends, not linebackers.
Right.
3-3-5, you're playing with true 3 down linemen, right? And then your backers vary how they line up, at the second level. Sometimes they'll get up on the ball. Sometimes they'll mug the egg. It's a more complex scheme because it's just different than everything you're taught as an offense. Meaning, hey, we got these 4 guys and maybe the middle linebacker, maybe the will. When you don't know, you know who the 3 down guys are, but you don't know the other 2. Like, that's where it can get a little bit confusing when it comes to pressure.
So is it harder as an offensive lineman to get, is it harder to get your hands on somebody? It's one thing to go, look, all right, I don't have a guy lined up over me. I know I have to get to the second level, and I think I know who I got to block.
Yeah.
Is it harder to get out there when that guy goes meep and flies one way, and now you got to get your hands on a defensive back?
Sure. I mean, yeah, it is. Anytime you're trying to, you don't want to get into a track meet with a guy twice your speed. You don't ever want to play that way, but the one good thing is, TCU, I think they're confident in what they run, but if you're Michigan, you're looking at it and saying, okay, we know exactly where they're going to line up.
Well, and they've said it.
We know exactly what they're doing.
Michigan has said we're not changing. And
right.
The quote, I believe it was from JJ, is if they run a 3-3-5, we're going to smash.
Yeah, and you try to run them out of it, right? If you run a 3-3-5 with 3 down linemen and 3 backers, and you play the style of football that Michigan does,
that's why I'm asking.
That should be a nightmare for TCU's defense. You know,
then
with how good your
do?
offensive line is, you should be able to control.
So what can you do if you refuse to change formationally? That's why I can't pick TCU to win the game.
Yeah, I mean, you just keep being stubborn Michigan and running those, A-gap dives and, and the power scheme. You all right there, Kenny?
I think Kenny
what's going on back there.
may have just thrown up. I don't know what just
I had an emergency sneeze. That's all.
Okay, we're good.
It's all good.
There's some snot on the glass.
Yeah,
I can see dripping down.
It's like a bird just crashed into the glass.
TJ, you should have seen what came out of my ear yesterday.
We don't want to.
Oh, come on.
No.
I'm with you, though. I think Michigan should, the style of football that they play, the style of football that TCU's defense is normally used to playing against the Big 12, meaning, spread offenses, passing the ball, Michigan should have a big advantage.
248-539-9797. Lions, Michigan, it's pick your adventure here. It's like one of those books for kids. TJ's with us till 4. We'll get into he's going to participate in 2 Roberto segments. It's going to be very exciting. Roberto has a New Year's Eve resolution segment.
You didn't tell me. Why am I just hearing about that?
Because that's part of the fun. 97.1.